Justin Beal from Developer AI. And today I want to talk about having a virtual product owner for your product. I'm going to walk through my Assistify product owner example, show you how it's built, how to use it, and how we can actually create a item in Trello and then implement it all using AI. Starting off, we're going to navigate to the Assistify product owner directory. And then you could pull this code down if you wanted, but I'm going to switch over to my Cursor IDE. And just looking at the start, what we have is this run end to end, which is going to clear out a bin directory. It's going to export some data, start a new OpenAI client and a service for our assistants. And it's going to basically create a new assistant, start a chat, and it can wipe it out here. The kind of data that is inside this assistant right now is a status of a Trello board. So if we look over at our browser, it knows about the status of this Trello board, which is our Assistify product. It knows the Assistify product definition, which is an Apex product definition that I created. So if we look through, it has all the information here on our product, our vision, our North Star, business case, and things of that nature. I've exported that into a text file in Markdown. It also knows about itself as far as the README is concerned. And then it knows about the code base. So it knows about the AI Assistant Manager Python library, the API, how the GitHub workflows work, about its own code in the front end. And what we can do with that is if we come back over to our GitHub, we can say actions, and I have set up a build to actually create a new instance of this product owner, which will pull down the Trello data fresh, make sure that's loaded in the context, and summarize and pull each of those code base. We're going to say run workflow. We're going to enter our API key, and then we're going to hit run workflow. And if we refresh and see what it's doing, we'll review the build here in a little bit, but it's going to walk through and actually create a new instance of this Assistify product owner with all of the context from the Trello board, all of the context from the code base, our product definition, and we'll be able to write some user stories and do some implementation of a small feature with the assistance of our Assistify product owner. Let's take a peek at our build output right now and see what is happening. So it's installing Python dependencies. It's actually running that Trello extract. So you can see it's grabbing information from the board, which like display protected hello world message on the dashboard. We could come over to our Trello and we can see that is an actual done item that it has found and extracted. Then it's going out and summarizing the code for its workbase, which it uses OpenAI chat completion to write a small summary of each of the files and then also the contents of the code. And it's doing that for the API. And it also has done that for the UI. It's done that for the GitHub workflows. It's building the actual product owner. So if you look, it's exporting those directories, getting all the files in place. It has trying to find the current assistant, remove it, and recreate it with all of the updated files. Looks like our agent wrapped up and we have just a small message here to test it out. Say, hi there, what interests you today? Are you looking to discuss specific features of Assistify? So with that, our agent is built and hydrated and we can use it to help us create user stories and collaborate with an AI assistant in the product owner role. One other thing I want to take a look at real quick is what we are calling continuous alignment testing. If we hop back into our code base, we can take a look at the integration. And if we come over here, we'll look at what the tests actually do. So it's saying test chat find done story. So it takes in a chat fixture, the Trello data, which it's going to extract the Trello data to make sure it's up to date. And then we're going to run it a number of times, which we're going to set on our GitHub action. So what we're trying to do is run the same test over and over again and try to reduce the variability that we get when we are working with AI chatbots. So it's going to grab all the done titles for the cards and it's just going to send a message to our assistant saying, what is the title of the story that is done? And then it's going to, in this test, loop through all the done titles and make sure that done title is actually in the results. And then we have another one that just is simple and says, what is the product you work on? And what we're expecting is to have Assistify in the response each time. So if we go back now to our GitHub action, we're going to say run workflow, and then we're going to put in our OpenAI key and select a number of rounds. We're just going to keep it at 5 right now. And we're going to hit run workflow. And then when that's triggered, what we're going to see is it's going to kick off the test and it's going to run them 5 times each. And then we're going to get a result back. And hopefully in each of the 5 results, it knows what a done story is and that it works on the Assistify product. It's ran a little bit now. It installed dependencies. It set the number of runs. So we can see it says 5 times. And if we actually look at the test output, it extracted the current Trello information and then started doing checks. So right here, where we were asking, what is the title of a story that is done? So then if we look, the title of a story that is marked done is Build Virtual Product Owner. And if we look back to our Trello board, we can see that we have a Build Virtual Product Owner there in the done column. And then it says, hey, I found the title. And then it starts it at number 2. And it keeps going on and on with that. And what we can even see when we said, hey, what is the title of a done story? In this particular thread and response, it says the title of a story is done can be found among the titles listed under the done category. And it listed a bunch of them. And then we make sure that, hey, I found a title inside of there, all these titles. And then we keep going on and on for 5 more times. And then in addition, as we get down further, we have our other test, which is verifying that it knows what product it's working on. So we can see right here, test chat knows Assistify product name. It's on its 2nd run. And its response to our question of what is the product you work on? It said, I work on Assistify, a web-based platform designed to connect users with specialized OpenAI assistants, streamlining professional workflows in areas such as programming, product management, and content creation. You can see the rest here. And it keeps on doing that a couple times. And what it looks like we go back to our integration test and we just look, it's green. And we have our 5 out of 5 on the one and 5 out of 5 on the other. So we're in a good spot to start playing with our assistant. Now that our assistant is built and we know that it has the correct data and it's up to date with our alignment standards, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the board real quick and we can see we have all of this stuff, but no doing card. Now, what I noticed when I was finishing up the create about Assistify page, if I come over to my app and I say about Assistify, I realized that there was no way to navigate back to my homepage. So what I want to do is have the Assistify product owner help us out by creating us a story. We'll move that into Trello, and then we'll use Cursor.sh and the details of the story to basically implement everything without writing much code ourselves. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say, I finished up the about Assistify page, but I realized that there is no way to navigate back to the login/homepage. Can we create a user story to make the header clickable such that when the user clicks on the header, it takes them back to the root index page? In addition, I would like to move the logo from the welcome page to the left of the header also. So it looks like a branding title bar. We're going to send that and see what it comes back with. It's running retrieval. It's looking at a bunch of stuff. And right here we have our information it came back with. Now in my prompt for this, I have it saying you're an expert agile product owner and doing some stuff. And then what it tries to do is its procedure here. We can see that for our user story guidelines, it wants to avoid solutioning, keep the user story small, a single acceptance criteria, invest principles, and all the user story should include a title, a business value, a problem, description, and acceptance criteria, which it looks like we have. So let's review this real quick and see if there's anything we want to change before we move it to the Trello board. And at some point in the future, it would be awesome to actually have this hooked up to a action such that I could say, yeah, move this story to Trello, and it would actually add it to the column that I specify. Not there yet, but this is a pretty good start. What is saying? It's clickable header, navigation and branding. I like that. Title. That's enhanced user navigation and fosters brand identity, improving the overall user experience. A good business value. The problem? Users currently have no intuitive way to return to the home/login page from the About Assistify page. Additionally, the branding is inconsistent as the logo is only visible from the welcome page. So if we look back to our welcome page, I'm talking about is this right here. Then what we have is a description. As a user, I want to click the header to navigate back to the root of the index page and see the Assistify logo repositioned from the welcome page to the left corner of the header. This provides a seamless navigation experience and strengthens brand visibility. And then it's got this acceptance criteria. Given the About Assistify page, when a user clicks the header, then they should be redirected to the root of the index page. Given the welcome page logo, when a user views any of the header page, then they should see the logo consistently placed to the left, forming a branded title bar. This is pretty good. It has 2 acceptance criteria in it, but that's okay. So does this user story comprehensively address the navigation pain points? Yes. And are there any details or concerns you would like to add to this user story? I think that's it. So this looks pretty good. I'm going to copy the title. I'm going to come over to my Trello board. I'm going to add a new card right there. I'm going to copy this. And then I'm going to paste business value. So it's got the formatting in it. We can see we have our 2 acceptance criteria. That is good. And I think I'll give it some labels. We have labels for the UI. And I think that's all. Okay, let's save that. Now that we have a user story that is in a workable state, if I took all of this and I come over to Cursor for my UI, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new chat window and say, I want to implement this feature. And then I'm going to paste everything there. And then I'm going to hit Command Enter and let it look through the entire code base and see what it comes back with. And here's what it's saying. To implement this feature, we need to make a change to the header component to include the Assistify logo and make it clickable to navigate back to the root index page. Additionally, we need to remove the logo from the welcome message component. So first, update the header component. Okay, we're going to go in here and we're just going to copy this and paste it in there. And then we're going to look at the Git diff in order to see what our actual changes were that it suggested. So look right here, just import an image, router, that makes sense. So we're going to use router. And then when we click on the logo, we're just going to push to our slash, which should take us to the index. It added another box around the image to make that a single branded element. It has the on click, makes it a cursor. That looks pretty good so far. And then it didn't think it needed the scriptlet tag, so it removed that. Okay. So if we save this real quick, and then we come over here and we say yarn down, and let's make sure our backend is running too. We're going to say hatch run down. So now we have both backend and front end working. And let's go over to the browser. And if we go to localhost 3000, We can see now that up here we have the clickable Assistify logo. That's great. So if I went to About Assistify, I can click on it and it takes me back. Beautiful. So that was the first step. Let's look what else it asked us to do. We mentioned removing it from a welcome screen. So now we have removed the logo from the welcome message component. That seems about right. So if we come over here, we have welcome message. We're going to look at the diff of that real quick just to review and remove the image. That looks great. And then in the step 3, it said update the test for the header component, ensure the logo click navigates to the root index page. I like that. Let's go to our header test and we will paste and let's see if this actually works with what it gave us. Nice. And then all 4 tests passed. Let's review those tests real quick just to see what it added there too. So we're using a mock router for jest function. That makes sense. Then we are just making sure that we're mocking the router just to do some stuff here. Now we have the header and then we're getting by alt text Assistify logo. We're clicking on it and then we're expecting that to have been called with a slash. Beautiful. And let's look at our UI again real quick. So now we have welcome to Assistify. We have our about and we come over here. We can see we can navigate. If I sign in with Google, let's just continue. Let's make sure on our dashboard we have the same. So now I have the same logo on the dashboard. So that way, whenever I click, I will route back to that home screen. And let's push that up real quick. And then we're going to say add branded header to header component and move logo into brand. We're going to commit. And then we're going to push that up. And then what we're going to see as a final step is that if we come back to our GitHub actions, we've actually kicked off our CI/CD workflow. So it's going to run our end-to-end integration here, which if we look, it's going to try to deploy to our CI environment, which we have set up for our Next.js UI in Vercel. And then our backend is going to be deployed to fly.io for our fast API application. And when both of those get complete, it's going to kick off our playwright test to run end-to-end test and make sure that our app functions as we expect. And when that's complete, we'll take a peek and make sure it deploys to our production environment. We can see that our end-to-end tests have finished up. We go back and look at our actions. We can see it says deploy to fly.io in Vercel. So if we come back to our actual app and we reload, we can see we have our login page with our header logo that navigates to it. And if we click, we can always get back there. Then the last step is just to move the story into a done status. When we come over here, we're going to move it on over. And we have implemented our user story. Thank you for joining me today on this AI-assisted coding journey. What we did is we took a OpenAI assistant and we created it to be a product owner for our application, which is Assistify. Then we used it to generate a user story to help us add a logo and navigation to our header. And then once that was done, we took the story and we put it into Cursor.sh and we had it search the whole project and help implement the story for us. And once we were good with that working locally, we kicked off our CI pipeline to automatically deploy it to our production application when the tests were passing and our end-to-end tests were green. And that's going to be it today. I hope you all have a great day and enjoyed the video, and happy coding.